Nvidia is all about the AI. Don't worry, more AI and more AI coming from Nvidia. Windows, very compromised. Don't share secret screenshots. Also, Intel, big problem. Big ol' problem. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. Those were your descriptive topics for what we're going to be going over in the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. And today's date is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. We're going to dive on into talking about Nvidia's new upcoming power connectors for the RTX 4070, because it's being found out that while the vast majority of GPUs they've released this year have a 16-pin power connector for the 4070, they're going to at least lighten up a little bit with this Inno3D 4070 being revealed to have an 8-pin power connector instead of the 16-pin. However, there are some reports out there that certain versions of the 4070 are going to have the 16-pin power connector, and then others are not going to have it. So it appears that Nvidia is not gripping the reins really tightly to make sure that everybody has to use the 16-pin on the 4070, which can be better for certain PC builds and upgrades as people slot it into their system. Which, if you're going to be building a new PC, maybe consider today's video sponsor, Silverstone, and specifically their Shark Force fans. They've had their Shark Force fans on the market for a little while, but now are unveiling the Shark Force 140 as well as the Shark Force 160 RGB. So you can get them either in the traditional black aesthetic or in addressable RGB to help liven up your system. But they help to move the air quite significantly because of their Shark Force design, which is based off Olympic swimmers who had shark skin-like swimsuits back in the late 2000s, which allowed them to break all sorts of world records because of how they move through the water. Silverstone saw that, applied that to fans, and now is bringing them out to you. The Shark Force fan blade designs are optimized for lower noise and higher performance, and the new 140mm fans has a wide speed range of 0 to 2200 RPM. They also have 3-phase 6-pole designs, which gives you smoother, quieter operations compared to most single-phase 4-pole design in other fans. And they're also using reliable and durable fluid dynamic bearings. And on top of that, for cable management reasons, they have a modular cable design where it doesn't have the cable attached to the fan before you plug it in yourself, which helps to make for good cable routing, make sure that everything is aligned in the way that you want, and just a neat little feature that I haven't seen before on any other fan. So for your next PC build or upgrading your current PC, consider Silverstone and their Shark Force fans. We'll have them linked in the video description. Big thanks to Silverstone for sponsoring today's video. And it looks like AI sponsored Nvidia's stream yesterday. They had their GTC keynote where they went over all of the things that they're doing that are great for the world that's kind of not for gamers. Every single year, GTC is about the things that Nvidia is doing for the important business people, not us weak-minded video gamers. And anybody who's following along with what Nvidia and their CEO Jensen Forever have been positioning this company to do, it has been AI, and there was no shortage of those discussions at GTC, with the CEO saying that we are at the iPhone moment for AI, specifically discussing ChatGPT and how it hit 10 million users quite quickly, and how they delivered the first supercomputer to OpenAI all the way back in 2016. And so with this, they discussed a lot of software implementations, a lot of library implementations, as well as a lot of hardware implementations, including the fact that they're going to have DGX Cloud, which will allow you to train your own neural network machine learning large language models for only $37,000 a month, which gives you access to 8 H100 or A100 systems with 60 gigabytes of VRAM, which means you have access from your web browser to do what would have cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to acquire a DGX system for. They also unveiled AI Foundations, which is their customizable Gen AI cloud service, which will allow you to learn how to build out the large language models and other things that you're looking for. In addition, rolling out large language model development for research and development in the biological and drug research sector. They also had some hardware announcements where they were going to have some PCI Express based compute GPUs, as well as the RTX 4000 Ada SFF, and also a lot of discussion surrounding quantum and the things that they're going to be bringing out through that, with cuQuantum or CUDA Quantum being rolled out as a framework for what quantum development can be like for computers in the future. This is something that I still don't firmly grasp, and I'm going to have to do more research on to clearly know what's going on in the quantum computer realm. But all I know is that they probably got inspired by the Ant-Man movie, and Nvidia also got inspired by the Biden administration to change their GPUs, because their H100 Hopper GPUs, the fast ones that they're using for AI and machine learning, actually have to be cut down in order to be sold to China, because there are export limitations on the types of graphics graphics cards and hardware that the US is allowed to export to China. And so Nvidia had to reduce the chip-to-chip bandwidth rate from 600 gigabytes per second, which is incredibly fast. The A100, they dropped the number from 600 down to 400, but now for the H100, in order for them to sell it, they're dropping it from 600 all the way down to 300, which is a pretty heavy hit, and something that AI computers desperately need is that chip-to-chip transfer speed, and so it has to be cut down in order to keep the US competitive and make sure that everything is meeting and fully compliant with export control regulations. And speaking of remaining compliant, Plex is no longer compliant and has to disappear. If you're on the PlayStation 3, it hasn't gotten updates in 6 years, but as of March 24th, 2023, Plex is gonna stop working on PS3. So if you're using a PlayStation 3 as your media server, you gotta change it. Kyler, does this affect you in any way?
I am so disappointed.
His pain, you can hear it. It's palpitating. You know who else's rage and pain is palpable? Reece.
Hey everyone, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing you the hottest tech deals on the internet, and we're going to rapid fire through today because Western Digital actually has a few things available. You can pick up the Western Digital Blue SN570 1TB NVMe SSD for only $49.99, which is $58 off. But then switching colors, we have the Western Digital Green SN350. This 2TB variant is going for only $89.99 with the promo code, making it $30 off the total price. And then lastly, if you or someone you know is into pink peripherals, then the Razer Barracuda wireless gaming headset in their quartz colorway going for only $64.99 on clearance, which is $95 off. And those are the deals for today. You can find these and more linked in the video description, but until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Thanks, buddy. Hope you didn't get any of those UFD deals using the Windows 11 snipping tool, because it's being found out that just like Google Markup, it has the same exact vulnerability. If you mark up or change the actual screenshot inside of the application, it saves it on all the wrong ways. That allows you to recover whatever sensitive information was covered up. So whether you're posting pictures of your Amazon order to Twitter and you covered up your address, or you're posting credit card information and covering that up, or sensitive pictures of yourself or others and you're covering things up there, it can be removed using the Acropolis tool, which is being found out is the exact same issue that we're seeing in Google Markup. They're saving the new image over the original image and not wiping out what was originally there, so it can recover a lot of the image. As you can see, not all of the image is fully recoverable, but in certain places you could find sensitive information that you wanted to not put out there on the internet. It's not quite clear when Microsoft might issue a fix for this, but hopefully it's sometime soon. And Google sometime soon was supposed to be delivering us their AI chatbot, Bard, and as I was watching the GTC keynote yesterday, I got my email to try it out. I'm not going to, because I have no functional use for Bard at the current moment, but it's out there, people are testing it, and Google is heavily expressing that this is an experiment. It is gonna go off the rails. Do not take this as if it's perfect, which from what we've seen with their test demo that they've done that had errors in it, Google is definitely not shipping this as being the replacement for what OpenAI is bringing out with ChatGPT 4, but you can test it out in case you're interested. It is running on Google's Lambda, and hopefully should get updated to be at least a little bit more competitive. But Microsoft not staying out of the fray, with them announcing that DALL-E AI image generation is coming to Bing, so that you can actually get images in your Bing. Tyler, you can Bing images now.
What?
Yeah.
I'm gonna Bing the green M&M.
You go Bing the green M&M, and we're gonna talk about another green man and machine. That's green M&M, man and machine. That's what Jensen Wong wants to be, because he's saying that he's going to be CEO for Nvidia for a long time to come. He's the longest tenured tech CEO out there, being the CEO of Nvidia since it was founded 30 years ago. And he says that he's planning on being part of it for another 3 or 4 decades, which would put him at the ripe old age of 90 or 100. But on top of that, saying in another 4 decades, he'll be robotic, and maybe in another 3 or 4 decades after that. So hopefully I get to enjoy this for a very long time. When asked about his longevity at the company, Jensen doesn't want to go away and says that he plans on being part of this company because he's still contributing to it. He's developing a lot, and based on their market cap, their march forward, the correct predictions that they've been making with regards to AI and potentially even quantum computing, he's not wrong. He's led the company to a lot of success. I don't know of a whole lot of people who look at Jensen and are like, hey, That guy's failing Nvidia. He's failing gamers, right? Because we're not getting $200 graphics cards anymore. But when your pocketbooks are raking in the billions of bucks, who cares anymore? But who is not a long tenured executive at a graphics card manufacturer is Raja Koduri, because he was part of AMD, part of the Polaris program and Vega program that brought us things like the RX 480 or even RX Vega, and he moved over to Intel to help them develop their Arc Alchemist GPUs and otherwise, and it turns out he's gone. He's done. He's leaving. By the end of March, Raja Koduri is going to be done with Intel's GPU department and moving on to work on an AI software startup, which screams either he really did not like the hardware game anymore and just was looking for something new and fresh, or he was being forced out by Pat Gelsinger and moving on to something that is just something that's hot and happening right now where he can get a lot of cash from a startup. So the chief architect of Intel's GPUs is now going to be gone. The CEO of Intel saying thank you for your many contributions to Intel tech and architecture, especially with high performance graphics that helped bring 3 new product lines to market in 22. Wishing you success as you create a new software company around generative AI for gaming, media, and entertainment. And there's a couple ways to react to this. I've seen different expressions of opposite sides of the coin. There's either he was a problem, he was bad for AMD, and of course he was bad for Intel. Nobody liked him. Things didn't go well. Intel's GPU department was not as fleshed out as it could have been, and it's all his fault, so let's be good. Let's force him out. Or the other side is he was so integral, he was the big boss at the GPU department. The fact that he's no longer going to be part of it means that Intel's going to have to shutter their GPU division, and we're actually not going to be getting the gaming GPUs. And it's either he was important or he wasn't, but it's probably likely a mixture of the two. We'll have to wait and see what Intel updates us with regards to their plans for their graphics cards, and specifically their gaming developments in the next few weeks and months to come, which I will be sure to keep you updated here on Hot News about that. And I'm about that leaving.